a wet blend. We did a wet blend for the base of the wood, but we're gonna do it a little bit softer here for these stones. You're probably gonna be happy using your 2-inch brush. And what I like to do is I like to have a brush to put the paint on, and then I like to have a brush that doesn't have very much paint on it to do nice soft blends. So with your bricks, you've established where your light source is. My light source is top right. You can see because where my highlights are. So you want to stay consistent on your Fieldstone, or else it'll look like weird. But if you do it the other way, it doesn't really matter because we're just learning. So you can do you're gonna keep in mind you want 3 tones for your stone. So I'm gonna use this raw umber for the color, and then I'm gonna use the Van Dyke brown for the shading and the white for the highlighting. And in the end, you're gonna kind of have them all blended together. So I'm just gonna take the base color and ooh, this is a sealant. Anybody have? Can you hand me that purpley? I'll use the purple gray. This has polyacrylic in it, so it's watery. Thank you. I'll just put it right there. I wouldn't suggest putting cans on your canvas like this, but
do as I say, not as I do.
That seems to be my theme for the day, doesn't it? So this is pretty dark, which is totally fine. And then I'm just gonna take some white and remember where my light source is coming from. And I'm gonna just kind of lay some of that in there. Again, do the cross hatching, little X's. And then, well, you know what, I'm gonna use this guy. So I left that pretty rough. And then put some shadowing under there. And then you just want to kind of blend it all together, give it some texture. What you're going to do is you're going to use different colors. So you can use the purpley, and you can use whatever colors you want. Like I pulled this really cool pink color because everybody likes pink rocks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I would do if I was doing this wall is I would do that one in the purple, and then I would come over here and do another purple and kind of spread them out, doing one color at a time. You know, clearly a designer is going to tell you what color your stones are going to be, but for this project, you're just going to make them whatever colors you fancy. You're not going to worry about it too much.
For this product, we are the designer.
You are. Boom. So one thing I want you to notice is that I'm kind of laying the paint in and not worrying too much about blending it until it's dried a little bit. I feel like it's a lot more malleable once it's dried a little bit. I'm not going to use Van Dyke for my dark color because it's going to gray out that pink. So since it's warm, I'm going to go ahead and use, whose is this? I'm looking for the burnt umber. Because it's a warm color, I'm going to use the burnt and just kind of lay that in there. So if you were doing like green rocks, you could do the raw umber for your dark color. Because it's green. Green brown.
This is what takes 3 hours.
The rest of the day. No, we have to do marbles too. We have to do more stuff. Nope. You can do it. So you're just gonna kind of blend.
I will. Okay. And critique myself. And you have to ask yourself.
Cool. So once you get all of your stones put in there, what's kind of weird about looking at those? What looks a little weird and off?
The edges.
The edges?
The edges don't.
Okay, well if you step back, your edges are going to probably be all right. The brush stroke, well, once you step back, you're going to look at it and it's going to actually look like a rock. Where if you overblend it, it might look like a a sphere or like a
Potato.
soccer ball or a potato.
It just doesn't look like
So-
it's set into the.
It doesn't look like it's set in. It looks like it's kind of floating. It's like floating rocks, right? So we need to ground them. So we have, this is the highlight and this is the shadow, but then we also want to add a drop shadow. Drop shadow is going to be on the grout, and it's going to be, so it's the shadow, it's like, or a cast shadow, you could call it a cast shadow. So it's cast from the sun onto the, so once again, Van Dyke Brown, my favorite thing, really watery, nice and watery. The good thing about watering these down is that then you're still gonna see the texture of your grout. So I'm using the little 1/4 inch guy, and I'm just gonna take my watery stuff and go right underneath. Come kind of around. I got that a little too close, so I'm cutting in onto the stone. That's okay.
No.
So it looks a little weird right now. I might add a little water. But once you step back, it'll really set that stone off of the grout. Fix my little mess up right there. Okay?
Sweet.
And cool. And you don't do it all the way around, or you do?
I don't.
You don't. You just.
So
do
the
that.
sunlight is coming from right
Yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm catching this guy.
Okay.
So it's wherever that shadow would, so it's casting its own shadow.